Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And last week I said I would pull out one of the two totems that I received from Burger Butt and Burger Butt. These do not have menu numbers, so you have to look at the back of the bag, and sometimes they put the card or the sleeve with the name of the entree upside down. So this is one of the vegetarian ones. I had not realized they did vegetarian totems, but this is one of them, at least that I've heard of. This is elbow macaroni and tomato sauce. I don't know the year on there because there is no date code on the bag itself, although there is a code down here, but I don't know if that's a date code. This was packed by Ameriqual, or the main was packed by Ameriqual, but the bag was packed by Sapaco. So they got Ameriqual components and probably some others. Let's see, there is Cliff, there's Emphasis here. Spicy tuna rolls. Thanks for dropping in. Well, these are a slightly less calorie heavy ration than the standard MRE. They're designed for less rigorous training environments, but where the people doing the training do not have access to a kitchen where they can get a standard hot meal. So that's when they would get these. And I'm sure that the military may have other uses for these as well, in addition to giving them out to soldiers. I'm sure that they could be issued to anyone in a disaster situation, just like any other ration. So, patriotic sugar cookies. So these were actually packed by Sapaco themselves. DeCarlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. There is a flameless ration heater in these. So this is a 2022. That is a letter Z. You can kind of tell the difference between a 2 and a Z there. So this is a 2022 pack. So after the stream, I will go ahead and adjust the tile accordingly. There's a pack of milk chocolate M&Ms. An accessory pack that is similar to what you will get in the halal MRE. grape drink that will go into the drinking jar. Honey mustard and onion pretzels, packed in 2022. And this is, yep, so this is also 2022 pack. So that code that's on this sleeve here is just some other kind of a code. It's not the actual date code of the item. Just other stuff that would be that's supposed to be helpful to the soldier who gets this, plus the nutritional stuff and the ingredients. Then that is it for the bag. And that will serve as my trash bag. Of course, I don't use these because I'm at home. I don't need to, but I saved them for when I do need them. This and That with Matt is here. Thanks for dropping in. I'll go ahead and open this up. The standard spoon. A commercial pack coffee creamer. Get the Brill's Brew coffee. And look at the size of these sugar packets. But the same amount of sugar as has been in the past. Just look at the size of these packets. There's James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So those are stuck together, so they will get separated. Got a napkin which you do not get in the standard MRE. You get this in the halal MRE. And you get a wet nap. And you get salt and pepper, which you do not get in the standard MRE. You get this in the halal MRE. Why can't the standard MRE get the pepper in there? I don't get that. They do not make these perforated where you can take these two packets apart. But there is enough room where I could cut the two packets apart. We were supposed to get some kind of rain, possibly a mix, but I don't think we got anything like that. So then again, it was only like a 40% chance of anything, but we didn't get very much at all. But but this week we are actually supposed to have a couple of days where we could be above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Before it starts cooling back down again. I will give that another stir later. Same amount of sugar as in the packets that used to be here, but there's enough in here you could put an extra 2 portions worth in there. If I missed any live streams last night, or maybe partly into the afternoon, we had a community dinner at the mosque, and so I was there, midday till, I probably didn't actually leave there till about 7:30 last night. There's the Bill's Brew, the sugar and the creamer in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pot on the stove to get that heated up, and then I'll bring back the water for the coffee. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of the way because it did its job. This looks like your typical commercial packaging, best before date. Nothing on here that says not labeled for individual sale. Try this as a tear notch right here, this little nick. Looks like a few of them managed to survive the transit. But you get to see what these look like on the inside. I'll go ahead and open up the sugar cookies have the tear notch right in the middle. But of course, they're going to be above that. I don't know what the reasoning is for having the tear notch halfway down the bag when the contents are above that. Let's see how well these survived. Well, I'll spill them over into some of them did, some of them didn't. I'm just giving the grape drink another stir. It looks kind of like a bluish purple. This is why I like to open these types of drink powders first, because they take a lot longer to dissolve than the sugar-free drink powders. So that is it. Slightly lacking in the components, maybe one component less, but yet a couple additions that you don't get with the standard MRE, namely the actual napkin, a pepper packet, and a second sugar. I'm going to go back through the chat, see if you missed anybody coming in. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I do like this pretzel flavor. I have had these before, not only from Rations, but just those I buy in a store. See, for the patriotic cookies, some of the shapes have changed over the years. But there used to be one that is not here anymore, but there's the flag. There's Uncle Sam's hat. There's a Liberty Bell. Actually, I'll put that one down here because my phone mount handle. And the torch of the Statue of Liberty used to be in there. Now it's an eagle's head. So this is a shape I had not seen before in these. So the eagle's head is a new one. So I'll put that one down here. So apparently they're still changing up the shapes in these. There's Nation MRE Finds in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So this is a 2022 totem. And it's elbow macaroni in tomato sauce, a vegetarian one. Long ingredients list for this. So they put the TVP, or textured vegetable protein, in here in order to jack up the protein content. And look at the size of this sugar packet. I mean, this is about the size of the normal sugar packet. You could almost put at least double the amount of sugar in here. That's the first time I'd seen a sugar packet that huge in an American Ration. But the sugar content is the same as always. So you get salt and pepper. This should be in every MRE. And other reviewers have said the same thing. That should be in every MRE. That would be a big morale booster, for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and get the main. That should be heated up by now, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Got a paper towel to dry it off. And this I used to carry it in. That's just part of my cookware set that I've had since college. It's actually dome lid, but it makes a great carrier for the pouches from the kitchen. And there's my crusher in the house. 2022 Totem. Kind of looks like Chef Boyardee. But good sized noodles. There's bits of tomato in here. There is a piece of the tomato. If this sauce is a bit on the sweet side, kind of reminds me of Chef Boyardee, how sweet it is. That's how big the noodles are. There's not a whole lot of herb flavor in here, which would definitely help the taste. I don't know why they chose to go with such a sweet sauce. But it is what it is. Hooger Homestead is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. What you're looking at is what's called a tailored operational training meal. It's a lower calorie version of an MRE. Slightly less amount of food. And this is one of the vegetarian menus. These do not have menu numbers. Just like the halal MREs don't. They come in clear packaging, and the only way you know what's in it is you have to actually look at the sleeve or the card with the name of the entree, and that tells you what it is. So these are the honey mustard pretzels. Got M&Ms here, the chocolate M&Ms. These are called patriotic sugar cookies. And this eagle's head is a shape that I had not seen before. So got the Liberty Bell, Uncle Sam's hat, the flag, and the eagle's head. So at least those are the four shapes that survived. Got Bill's Brew coffee in the mug. Not the best instant coffee, but it's not the worst. And then this is an artificial grape flavored drink in the drinking jar. A few actual pieces of tomato in here, but the sauce is very, very sweet. And even the TVP bits are very small. There is Elsie in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, the sauce is very orangish. And I got this in that box of goodies from Burger Butt and Burger Butt. Until I got this, I had no idea that these totems were done with the vegetarian entrees. Yeah, I do like these pretzel nuggets. But they didn't survive. Some of them didn't. But this is what they look like on the inside. Well, speaking of intense pain, my sister next to me in age had her Achilles tendon surgery on Friday. So she cannot put any weight whatsoever on her right foot for 2 months. And for those that follow Garden State Gardener, he had to deal with the same thing last year after he hurt his Achilles tendon. And because my sister also has a bad knee, she can't use one of those knee scooters where you can put weight on that knee and rest it on that cushion, and then you use your other foot to propel yourself forward. She can't use one of those because she has the knee pain that is just too much. She can't not kneel on it at all. So she has a tall walker where she can kind of raise up her right leg and kind of half rest the shin on the frame of that walker. But that thing is so wide, it won't go through most doorways. So if she has to travel anywhere, she has to take a standard size walker, which makes it more difficult to do that. But she'll only be traveling to medical appointments. And after the 2 months of not being able to put any weight at all on that right foot, is when I think she will be starting the physical therapy. But until that time happens, she'll be doing very little for herself, so others will be stepping in. And she's on temporary disability, and she'll stay on that until she's cleared to go back to work. That stuff tastes just like Kool-Aid. So since my brother is staying with them, as soon as he gets his license, his Iowa driver's license, then he will be able to either take my sister to any of her appointments when he's not at work, or take my mom to her appointments, because my sister, who now cannot drive, has been doing some of that on her days off. But if my sister needs to have someone with her, but the others have to work, then if one of them can pick me up and take me over there, then I can hang out with my sister. There is Tim in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, no doubt that was an ordeal and a half to go through that transplant. Yeah, Joe Kozlowski had a long recovery after that. But but this growing season, he was back in his garden. He was doing his regular job plus Uber. Of course, now he has Grow Big TV, and that's where Sunday Fun Day is going to be for this month. So I was in there for almost the first hour, and then I kicked out so I could get this stream going. But he was giving away a whole mess of seeds. And this is a 2022 pack totem. The vegetarian. This sauce is, it's like Chef Boyardee. Ah, dang. I want that focus back. I don't know why this always wants to change its focus just because of movement. I don't know why it just won't leave well enough alone. But anyway, this sauce is very sweet. I cannot pick up any herb flavor. There's one big piece of tomato I found so far. Oh, oh, ouch. That that is gonna be a hard recovery for her to be in that kind of a position for so long. So I hope that she will start to show some improvement and she can get out of the ICU and at least into a standard room. Oh, yeah, that chemo can be nasty. I have known several people who have went through that. And one is still getting it to a much lesser extent than she did before. You know, she still has her ups and downs, but she hasn't been going in for weekly treatments like she used to after her chemo started. But yeah, that can be almost nastier than the disease itself. Yeah, that's a bummer, James. We, the Transit Rider Advisory Committee I'm on, we lost one of our members who died back in August. So last week at our meeting, we had the voting for the new, the vice chair. So I don't know yet who that person will be because some people attended on Zoom. So they had to email in their choice. So we will get an email before the next meeting. And then DART is looking for someone to fill our empty seat. So those who have previously wanted to join the committee but did not get chosen are being contacted to see if they are still interested. So, for instance, if I'm elected as the vice chair, then I will fill out the remainder of the term going to the commission meetings along with our chairperson. And if the chairperson is not able to run the meeting or attend the commission meeting, then that's where the vice chair would step in. But even if both the chair and vice chair are at that commission meeting, they can back each other up. So that would mean I would be attending 2 meetings a month. With the potential of getting a second free lunch, because if you attend the track meetings in person, you get to have lunch there. And I think that's true with the commission meetings because they meet at the same time. Just on a different day. It's basically like now that Santos is out of the U.S. House, someone will fill in and serve out the remainder of his term. And then if that person chooses, can run for election to a full 2-year term. That's pretty much how it works. At least for filling out the position. Say if I get the vice chair, but if someone who joined the track more recently, then they may spend longer time in that position. Because I'm in my second, I'm just about to finish out the 3rd year, because I can do up to 4 years. And then I will drop off and someone else will take my place. And then, say if I'm the vice chair, then they will have to hold a new election to refill that spot. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep, we never know when we may see our last day. Well, spicy, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not really a fan of that place. I'll stick with tasty tacos. Plus, I don't think Taco Bell sells spicy tuna rolls. You want that? I think you have to go get the stuff and make it yourself. I'm going to try a little something just for kicks. some of these little pieces. Now these honey mustard pretzels are actually not all that sweet. Sometimes you get these and you can definitely pick up on the honey. But these are actually not all that sweet. But the crunch might liven things up in this a little bit. But that sauce completely covers the mustard flavor. Yeah, these patriotic cookies, it's Eagle's Head is a new one. At least it's a new shape. I had not seen that before. Got Liberty Bell. The Uncle Sam's hat. And the flag. But they do taste like your typical sugar cookie. Oh, DeCarlos, that was very sound advice that person got, and it's a good thing that person acted on it. Yeah, my mom has had some of those. Sometimes they can be known as mini strokes or micro strokes, where it's very short lived and not as much damage has happened, but just enough to be detected. So that should be enough to give you a wake-up call. There's Robert in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is the 2022 Totem, one of their vegetarian options. It's packed by Sapaco, but the entree was done by Mariqual. So it's another instance of these companies trading stuff back and forth. So this Eagle's Head, that's a new shape, at least that I'm aware of, for these patriotic sugar cookies. It's a bummer that a lot of these get busted in transit. But at least some of them, at least one of each shape did survive. And usually you get 4 different shapes in these packs. These are honey mustard pretzels. And unlike the sauce on this macaroni, these are not all that sweet. I did toss a few bits in, seeing if there would be a change in the flavor, but the overly sweet sauce completely covers any of the mustard flavor of these pretzels. Got the classic artificial grape drink in the drinking jar. There is Shadow Scout Suite in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Well, I had a very busy day yesterday, so I missed out on any streams that went on because I'll get the focus back. I got to the mosque just before the midday prayer started at 12:30. And then I didn't leave there till probably like 7 like 7:15 or something like that. Maybe 7:30. We had a community dinner last night, so the person who usually kind of runs the show, coordinates things, had to haul tail to DC Friday afternoon because one of her relatives took a sharp turn for the worse when it comes to health. And she wasn't actually supposed to go till tomorrow, but when she got the news that this relative was getting pretty bad, then one of her daughters got a plane ticket and then took her to the airport. So she flew out Friday. So I was pretty much coordinating everything yesterday. With a group that does some of the logistics organizing. We got some new tables brought in. This particular group decided that you know, they would serve everyone else instead of everybody going up to the food table and getting food, because sometimes that can be chaotic, especially when you have a lot of people and it's kind of a tight space. So we tried something a little different last night and it worked. So we will do another one in January, and then we'll do it again in February, and then, or maybe in February. I don't know if we'll skip February because we'll be getting ready for Ramadan, which starts in March. Like the 10th or 11th or something like that. Plus these monthly community dinners, we get to talk about what things are needed. in order, to be donated or what things need to be done. So just take a little bit at a time. When you run something purely on donations, because any money that's donated to the mosque itself only gets used to pay bills. All the supplies are donated by individuals or perhaps by a business. Or a group of individuals or family may pool their resources. Or, a person doing work, like a repair, may donate their time and not charge for that service. Anybody who has attended a church or a synagogue or other house of worship for a long period of time would know all about that. And when a roof needs to be repaired or electrical work needs to be done, got Bill's Brew in the mug. These are the packaging for this looked like Sapaco had just gone to Sam's Club or Costco or ordered a whole bunch of these individual servings of M&Ms and and paid a wholesale price instead of the kind of packaging that would say not labeled for individual sale, and it just has the standard best by date, just same as if I gone into a store and bought the same pack of M&Ms. And the coffee creamer was in a Coffee Mate packet. Instead of the same tan color, instead of the same packet like the creamer in the standard MRE or in the MCW, it'll be the tan packet that for the past few years would look something like this. The shiny multi-layer packet. Of course, the sugar packet, you get 2 of these in here, but look at the size of this thing. With just that amount of sugar, with room for at least double that. This is the first time I'd seen this size of a sugar packet in any mil-spec ration. I mean, I would expect to see a packet this size in a Russian ration because they are known for really loading up on the sugar. I mean, 10-gram packets, 20-gram packets. And with these, you get pepper, in addition to the salt. That little tiny amount of pepper probably wouldn't be enough to wake this up. This sauce needs some herb flavor. And a little bit of Parmesan cheese. I tried putting a few bits of these pretzels in here. All it really does is just give you a little bit of crunch. The sauce completely covers the flavor of the pretzel. And that soy protein they put in here, the bits are so tiny, they're almost, you almost don't even know it's there. Kind of makes me wonder if they just opened up a bunch of number 10 cans of Chef Boyardee macaroni tomato sauce and just transferred it to the retort pouch. I mean, the sauce is just that sweet. It's too sweet. So I don't know. Oh, wow. If that thing still works and you could get the refills for it, that could be something. I had a Polaroid camera once. You know, I had fun with it. It was the one that produced the smaller pictures that are almost a square. But I think that thing stopped working. Either that or I couldn't get the refills for it anymore. So either way, I got rid of it. But I still have that little 110 camera that my late dad got my sisters and I think my brother even got one. I think he might have been old enough at the time. And then there was a little spot where you could put 3 little letter stickers. So we would have our initials on there because we were all given the identical camera. And I still have it. I don't think I have any film for it, but I still have that camera. Yeah, they were. And you could get maybe 10 shots off of it. Stay retro. I do like that line. If you can get a refill for it, which I'm pretty sure by now would be even super expensive, it might actually be fun to try that out just to see if it still works. Yeah, the problem with these cartridges, if you're trying to take a picture and something messed up on it, and then you lose the shot because whatever you're trying to take a picture of is either gone or changed, or something happened to it as it was developing, then you basically lost that shot and, no chance to recover that. Now, that 110 camera I took that thing to Mexico back in '86, and I took 9 rolls, and I could get 24 on a roll. And I think I used all 9 rolls, but something happened to one of them either on the way there or on the way back, or when I went to Mexico City for a weekend. I think one of the rolls might have gotten exposed to an x-ray machine. So either before I shot it or after I shot it and I didn't get it packed properly or something like that. And when I went to take them in to get developed after I got back, I only got 8 sets of negatives. So the place where I took them, they said I got nothing off of the 9th roll. Which is a bummer because there are some pictures that I wanted to show everybody that I couldn't. Well, after that bit of sweetness, I need a little bit of salty. There may be some places that will do that kind of photo editing. Take a picture and then have it treated in a way where it looks like something from that time period. There's actually a place near my mosque called Paparazzi, and it's a photography studio. And on occasion, when I walk by it, I have seen photo shoots going on in there. So I'm sure they have props and they can play with the lighting to get certain effects. Although I've never actually gone in there to see what all they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can achieve that kind of a look when they're doing the actual editing of the pictures. You know, when kids get their senior pictures taken before they graduate, you get a proof, and then you approve of the particular shots, and then those will be the ones that the company will produce to fill the order of the number of pictures and what sizes and all that. Ooh, nice, Elsie. In fact, just going to get your yearly school pictures, you can look at the proofs, and then you decide which ones you want to go with and whether or not you like the quality of the picture. And if you don't, you discard that one and you go with another one. We have pictures of my siblings and I from the 70s. And the color is so much different than today. I mean, the quality of the processing, the quality of the film. And with now everything pretty much being done with digital, you can get so much truer color, finer detail. Because back then, you might miss something as small as that. That little speck. But with technology today, you would not miss that little speck on a dark background. I think my mom has pictures of me when I was still a baby from 1966. She still retains my original birth certificate, so she might have one of those pictures with that. I don't know if that's true or not. I never asked her, but when we are going through pictures and documents back in '83 for the one and only Yajinka reunion, we were pulling a lot of these pictures that she had, and then we were going through pictures that were sent by snail mail because there was no email, there was no fax that we had access to back then. So my mom was doing some of it, and then like 7 other people were doing all this genealogy stuff. And then people were sent a form to fill out, and then they would send it to one of those people who were doing all of this document and picture assembly. And then when we got done with what we were doing, we would send this whole package in to the organizers of the reunion. Then they in turn put that all together to publish the book. In what you call self-publishing, means you just have all the stuff, you take it to a print shop, and then they will print out the number of copies that were ordered. And Yajinka clan members had to order in advance so that the organizers knew how many copies to request. But that was a lot of work back then. Were we to do that now, it probably would have taken us a single month to do what we did in probably 6 months or 7. But that book was as thick as the old style phone book or your standard college class book. Basically, as thick as this thing. And that's just reaching back to the generation that came before those that came to the U.S. in 1849. Yeah, Elsie, that is so true. Even old things I find in a thrift store that I have no personal connection with, but yet it reminds me of something that I would have either seen as a young child or something that would have been used at that time. Well, CT, this is a 2022 pack Totem Vegetarian. The elbow macaroni, big macaroni, which I like that, but only one big piece of tomato. And it was about the size of this cookie fragment. The sauce, I mean, it's like a Chef Boyardee can was dumped out and into a retort. It's very, very sweet, no herb flavor. Any sweeter, you wouldn't know it was tomato sauce. And then these are the honey mustard pretzel bites. Not a whole lot of sweetness in these, but good crunch. I'm not picking up as much of the mustard flavor as I have in the past with these, but I'm still happy with them. Patriotic sugar cookies, Eagle Head. That's a, I'm guessing that's a new shape, but a lot of them have busted. Bill's Brew in a mug. Is the chocolate M&Ms. Commercial packaging. Look exactly like what you would get if I just gone into a store and bought a pack of the milk chocolate M&Ms. The fake grape drink tastes just like Kool-Aid. But look at the size of the sugar packet. You get two of these in these totems. I'm not sure why they would put two sugar packets in there. Same napkin that you'll get in the halal emery. And the pepper as well as the salt. This should be in every emery. Sapaco packed this ration, but they got the main from AmeriQual. It's got the AmeriQual logo on there. But other than the fact that these cookies are broken, there's nothing wrong with them. Well, you get pepper in rations from other countries. You get pepper in the halal MREs. And I think you even get it in the HDR. Uh, if I can turn the autocorrect off, then I take every opportunity to turn that off because it will mess up names. For a while, unless I caught it right before I would hit post or send or whatever, if I type the name of my city, it'll have the DES part, the first word, it will leave that alone. But the second word, the MOINES, it always wanted to change it to something else. And if I changed it, but then I would go off of that to finish typing whatever I was going to do, it would revert it back to what it wanted it to be instead of what is correct. So then I would have to go back to it, fix it, and then hit send or post right from there, and then it would leave it as the way it's supposed to be, not what it wants it to be. And it would flag my name too. So that's why I turn that off. If I can turn that autocorrect off, then I do. Yeah, sometimes I'm not always typing in English. I may put something in Spanish. I still get the occasional word suggestion, but that's another thing I turn off if I can. Because sometimes it will want to put something in there that you don't want in there. Of course, lately when you're in Facebook, if you're typing a word, you don't have to put the at in front of it or even the, like you're typing a hashtag. You just start typing a word and it will pop up either the name of another Facebook user or the name of a Facebook page. And then to avoid that being dropped in place of what I want, I just have to hit the space and or just keep on adding text. There's Chicago in the house. A 2022 pack Totem. These do not have menu numbers, but tonight is a vegetarian. I did not know that they did vegetarian totems, but they do. It was packed by Sapaco, but the menu was provided by Ameriqual, but they totally missed the mark. The sauce tastes like it came right out of Chef Boyardee. Way too sweet. No herb flavor. I couldn't even pick up any of the soy protein. Maybe tiny particle here and there. None of that. One piece of tomato. That's it. Speaking of Casey's, I still have not gone into that Casey's that has only been a few blocks away from here for a few months. I have not gone in there. I was going by it as I came home last night, but I have not yet gone in. Yeah, the sauce and this macaroni was way too sweet. I put a few broken bits of the honey mustard pretzels in there, but all that sauce did was just overpower that. I gave it a little crunch and that's it. Yeah, well, that's not quite close enough. Um, Pumpkin is down below me, underneath my chair. Pumpkin, 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 pumpkin kitty, pumpkin. Had to show you, pumpkin. There we go. Yeah, there's even sugar in things you would not expect to find sugar in. But I also don't like the artificial sweeteners. Because for some people's systems, they can mess you up. Well, there was a European, I don't remember which country it came from. RC Gusto did a comparison between this vegetarian pizza and one of the first versions of the US MRE pizza shortly after it first went into production. So that's way back on his channel. Yeah, there he goes, that Norwegian. I have never gotten a hold of one of those. It would be interesting to actually try that one. But I've only seen Arctic field rations with the freeze-dried entrees available by those who are still able to sell them. I think I think when RC Gusto just focused on the pizza itself in that one and not just that ration as a whole. Then again, he may only have had the pizza from the ration and not the whole ration. I don't remember if G. Schultz had one of those Norwegian pizzas or not. I know he messed with the MRE pizza by having a few different methods of heating it up. Because he had 4 of them, and I think he put one in the FRH. He put one in boiling water, and then the other one, I think he opened it up and cooked it in a pan or heated it up in a pan. And I think the other one he left cold. Or he microwaved one of the pizzas. I don't remember, but he had 4 different treatments of it just to see how it would affect the texture and the flavor by different heating methods. There we go. That was not all that long after RC Gusto did his pizza comparison. A brief disconnect, sorry about that. But it would be nice if there are two pieces of pizza in the pizza MREs instead of just one. Yep. My little 6-inch cast iron skillet can handle one of the Emery pizza slices. In fact, I put a cheese pizza slice in it. Yeah, leftover pizza was breakfast for me when I went to college back in the 80s. I ordered a lot of Mazzio's pizza back then. And what I did not eat, I would put in my little dorm fridge. And then I would have those 3 or 4 slices for breakfast instead of going to the dining hall. You know, they always serve the same stuff every morning. And they were not known for their food down there. And you know it's bad when you can't tell the oatmeal from the grits because they both look the same. No flavor whatsoever. So I was sitting at the cereal dispensers pretty much all the time. Thanks for dropping in, CT. And now Pumpkin is on the back of my chair. Yeah, so you could probably hit up that Casey's anytime you wanted. I mean, I'm a block and a half away from a Quick Trip, but I don't go in there very often. I think when I was younger, when we were traveling, or we were staying at a place where there wasn't much as far as food options, but there was a Casey's. Yeah, we generally got Casey's pizzas. What you doing? She gets on the back of my chair. I reach up to pet her. She might stay there a few seconds and then she'll drop down. Usually she's sleeping when I'm doing these streams. But once in a while she'll make an appearance. Now she's under my chair again. So I'll reach down and grab the tip of her tail. Or give her a rib scratch. She's one of those picky cats when it comes to water. She has to have, I mean, she'll drink out of her bowl. But if I'd been away for a few days, she also likes to take the water up with her paw. Uh-oh. How was CT hidden? What the heck? Unhide. There we go. There we go. That fixed that. That was an oops. Yeah, he should not have been hidden. That was a total oops. But stuff like that happens. There, I see a deleted message. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, that just says that deleted message just was the one where he said that he's got to go. So I'm guessing LC just had an issue with touching something on her screen or clicking on something, depending on what she's watching this on. Yeah, somehow it says you hid CT, so I fixed that, and that deleted his last comment, but I don't think I can restore it. Yeah, I don't think I can restore. I can view deleted message. I can pin, but I don't think I can restore it. But yeah, that has happened. If your chat may have jumped when you wanted to do something else. Yeah, I knew that was not intended. There is no way that, I just knew that was not intentional because he's not the type of person who would warrant that kind of response. It may be too late for me to do something, but I'm going to try it. There we go. Now I modified CT because his name is still showing up in the chat, so I can still do that. So now that cannot happen again. Unfortunately, I could not do anything about the kid messing with your TV. I can't do anything about that from here. So next time CT comes into my chat, he will have a wrench, and he cannot be booted unless the system boots him. It's a good thing my slider's closed because I'm hearing a loud conversation from below me, and I think they're outside. And it's not yelling or anything, but they're just loud down there. Oh, that noise is drawing my cat's attention. I will probably modify a few more people in here. There we go. Yep, that's something you don't want to do because you don't want to get booted out for just a kid being a kid. Yeah, I haven't seen that. He might be. Away from the screen. Or he might be doing what CR likes to do, only getting himself a spicy tuna roll or something fishy. I'm gonna dip one of these into the coffee. Those cookies soften up so fast after you dip them in coffee. And plus, too much loud noise can screw with your hearing, and you may not notice that until later in life. Yeah. I have known some people who have lost hearing from being around too much noise that is way too loud. In past jobs that my brother has worked at, he would sometimes have to put earplugs in his ears to protect his hearing from very loud noises around him. Of course, he used to attend rock concerts, which can get very, very loud. And that is definitely not my speed. And speaking of that, my mom has to get her hearing aids looked at. Grow Big TV? We all know Garden State Gardener. He had his Sunday Fun Day that started an hour before I went live. So I kick out shortly before the first hour of that ends. So he had done a whole bunch of seed giveaways, some yarn type stuff giveaways, hot sauce giveaways. So he had a whole bunch of winners. I only caught like the first three before I kicked out. So if my name was picked, then because I was no longer in the chat, that would go to someone else. Yeah, Joe, I went ahead and modified you. Of course, then again, it could be Courtney in here instead of Joe. Because Courtney of Wide Family Farm has teamed up with Joe, Garden State Gardener, for the Grow Big TV channel, and they are already over 1,000 subs. So they're doing twice weekly interviews, and they're doing the Sunday Fun Day on the Grow Big TV channel, at least for December. And Joe is still doing his 100 days of seeds. So he may do a couple days worth at a time if he's not able to do a video for a single winner every day, but he's doing that. And he's also doing it on Facebook because there's a Facebook page plus a Facebook group that he has, and he's doing the 100 days of seeds on there. Yeah, there are some places even here in Des Moines where a property owner may occupy part of a house that's been split, or the owner will live in one part, and then the tenant or tenants will live in other parts. When my parents managed apartments, they lived on the property, either in an apartment or in a separate house that served not only as their residence, but as the leasing office. So the last place they lived before they retired was that kind of a setup where they had one room with the door to the outside, and that was the leasing office. That is where the tenants would go to pay their rent or to turn in applications or whatever. At that time, they had to call in a maintenance request, whereas what my mom does at the property she lives in, and what I do is we do pretty much everything online, either through a website or through a mobile app. But there's still phone numbers available. But here there is no on-site office, where my mom lives. There is a leasing office, but that's way over at the other end of the property, and she just cannot make it over there walking it. So she does all of that online. Like, you know, when she first moved in, there was an employee who was not depositing check or money order rent payments, and then those tenants were getting eviction notices for non-payment, but they had the receipts or the stubs to prove that they did submit it. They put it in the rent drop, or someone put it in form, because one of my sisters would do that. But this person was not depositing those checks or money orders into the bank. Now it's happening to a few dozen tenants, so that person did get fired. So as a result of that, all payments have to be done online. Yeah, that can be a problem. And if you don't have a responsive housing authority to go to, depending on your location, that could make dealing with that problem even harder. In fact, when I first moved into this building, the paperwork was not done very well. So if a new tenant signs a lease or renews a lease, you know, that stuff could get lost, or documentation of rent that was paid could get lost. or maintenance requests could get lost because at that time you had to call it in, and maintenance was always slow. They had some people who were very inept. Then a new management company came in. They were not all that much better. And they had some personnel changes. Of course, we had, yeah, in September, we had a city inspection. And so those violations are getting fixed. But it's going to take time. Yeah, and this, at least the company that is managing this property, is completely local. It's a real estate company, so they do your standard stuff like commercial real estate, residential real estate, as well as property management for apartments and condos. But it is an Iowa company, and they do have a local office, but they do not have a leasing office here. What used to be the leasing office became in an apartment. But I'm still waiting on whether or not they are going to accept some ideas I have as far as a transition out of this apartment into another one that is down the hall. One with a damaged door that was caused by someone trying to break in for the purpose of attacking someone who used to live there. Yeah, that's not right. Of course, people do not pick up after their dogs here. Then people who do not live here, they'll walk their dogs around here and then they let their dogs poop on this property or in the park. Wherever, they don't care. In fact, twice I took pictures of dog pooping on the carpet in the hallway in front of my door and in front of the apartment next to mine and in the stairs. And what I could pick up, I did, and then I would spray air freshener to get rid of that smell, at least for a little bit. And then last time they had to hire a carpet cleaning company to deep clean the carpet. But I'm still waiting on Stanbro to tell me if they're going to accept my idea of swapping doors, the one that's currently on my apartment, for the damaged one, because until that apartment gets a new door or mine is put there, no one can live in there because it cannot be locked. So I don't know what the deal is. They would not have to change locks for me. I would just keep it because the apartment number is not on the door itself, it's on the door frame. Yeah, we've had some real pieces of work down here too, where they call them slumlords around here. Or they property managers or landlords will rent out a unit and then not do any maintenance. And if they get a city inspection and they get violations, they won't do anything about it. Or they'll try to fake them out to make it look like something was done. But it would be more like putting a steri strip on a 2-foot long chest wound. And then they get the problems again. In fact, one pair of buildings I used to have home care clients in, the management at that time did not want to do anything about the bed bugs until a bunch of the tenants got together and filed a class action lawsuit and won. So the managers, that whoever was managing that apartment, they got booted out by the housing court. The judge ordered new management. They ordered a company to come in and treat the units with an all-day heat treatment. Plus, the tenants had to be given housing, like in a hotel, while their units were being cleaned up or repairs made, until not only the bed bug problem, but other bug problems were taken care of. Pest issues, other pest issues. Because a few of my clients who lived in those buildings had the bed bugs, and I'm surprised I didn't bring any home with me. I stripped one client's bed, put all the bedding in trash bags, tied them up. I put some of his clothes in trash bags, tied them up. Till they could be put in a hot dryer for who knows how long. And I vacuumed his mattress. Someone else did that for another client, but I had literally put a bunch of packaging tape over some vents that were in the side of the bathroom walls or over the like other air vents in order to keep bugs from moving in, but that didn't help. Yeah, and if they have to have a license, a business license, they could lose it. I don't know if there is a business license for large scale property management. I don't know how that works here, but these people that I used to work with, plus other tenants who lived in that building, they also had to get paid what we call here punitive damages, compensatory damages as a result of their class action lawsuit that they won. So last time I heard from at least a few people who that I know who still live in these two buildings. I don't know if they're still managed by the same company or if they have been split off from each other and each building managed by a different entity. I don't know about that because I haven't been inside either of those buildings probably since 2009. It was the last time I had gone into either of these buildings. Yeah, there's a person I know here in town who probably does that because he owns several houses, and then the son is a co-owner of the properties plus his regular job. Plus he does maintenance with his father on the properties, but they run it like a business since they own several properties. So they would pay a business tax, do other things that any other business owner would do. But for someone who just wants to rent out a single property, they may not do that. I don't know what the law requires for just someone doing it as a side hustle. If you're doing it on Airbnb or any other place like that, I think that is treated like a business. I'm down to my grape drink and my coffee. Yeah, -8 is a bit on the chilly side. Let's see. Here it is 35 Fahrenheit. I just pull up another dice. So that would be like 2 Celsius. That would be my guess as to, I could be a half a degree off. So LC has it about the same as here as far as the temperature goes. Yep. And you also don't, you, not only the muscles they'll see, but tendons and ligaments and in addition to the bones and cartilage. Yeah, like, yeah, that's a bit on the chilly side. Yeah, it won't get that cold here till probably after next week because this coming week it's supposed to be, middle of the week it's supposed to be a little bit warmer. We could crack 50 Fahrenheit. And then we'll get back down to like Friday. The high will be what the temperature is right now. Of course, things can change. Tomorrow they can say something totally different. It used to be very unusual that I would go outside even to go check the mail or go take out the trash in December with a lighter jacket on instead of a winter coat. Of course, I just threw a winter coat on to take out the cat crap, but I didn't zip it, and I still got the Crocs on my feet. Of course, I got a pair of socks on, but I didn't put a different pair of shoes on just to go to the dumpster. So Wednesday, if I wanted to do something outside, I would probably wear a light jacket if I went out in the middle of the day or afternoon, or maybe none at all. Yeah, that is a rare thing for around here to get that cold in the middle of winter. See, like January, I haven't experienced anything. It's been quite a few years since we had a, a real deep freeze like that. And we got a bunch of the white stuff along with it. It almost brought the city to a standstill. I did not lose my power at that time, but I know people who did. It was so bad that I had gone out to see a client, and this is an early one. So I got done with that one, and then I was going to a second one, or maybe a third. It might have been just a second because it takes longer to go by bus. Because it may take me a half hour, 45 minutes in travel time to go maybe 5 miles. Or 10, just that's how long it takes to go by bus because you're starting and stopping, picking up people, dropping people. And when the weather's bad, it takes longer. But I was calling into the office to say that the buses are getting slow and it's getting slick out there. So then I was told to just knock off for the rest of the day to go home. Now they would call the clients and say that they're not going to get a lot of their home care visits for the rest of the day unless it was an absolute necessity. And soon after I had gone home, then the city buses got pulled off the streets. So anybody who was not sent home early from work or school or whatever, and a lot of businesses did close up early that day. They had to find another way home. In fact, when I was working customer service at a company, had the same issue, but I was walking to work because I was close enough. So I had taken off early because I knew it would take longer. I walked into the building, and I was having trouble getting my key card to unlock the door. I always had trouble with that thing. But once I got in, and everybody else was asking me how I got to work. How come I had no trouble getting to work? I walk. I don't drive. I didn't even have to wait on a bus. I started out early, but I did it. So then they ended up sending us home probably 2 hours after I got there. The CEO started sending people home. Yeah, and that's for conditions like that. Yeah, you want that. Yeah, I wore my. I still have those same winter hiking boots that I wear for winter. I've had those same boots for quite a number of years, and still got good tread because most of the time I keep my ice cleats on them. I hardly ever take them off unless I want to clean them or I need to replace one of the spikes in them or replace them altogether, which I have done a few times, but I usually just keep those on there. But yeah, I wore the boots. I carried my shoes in a bag, along with my lunch bag. And I get to my desk, I take the boots off and put my shoes on. And we were having trouble logging into our our individual terminals that we were working off of. But we did get paid for the whole day, even though we didn't work the whole day. But when I worked home care and had to knock off early because of the weather and the buses being pulled off the street, I didn't get paid for the rest of the day. I only got paid for the one client visit I did do. But we haven't had any freaks like that for. See, I think that was 2000. I think Tim remember. I'm pretty sure Tim remembers that storm. When it was so icy as well as the snow that they pulled the buses off the street because that is a very rare thing to happen around here. Now, that was before the Dart station was when all of the buses are still lining up on Walnut Street in between 5th and 7th. Yeah, those can be some mean ones too. I saw something. I think earlier today I didn't watch it, but in my suggestions feed I saw a video from a channel I'd never heard of before saying about something could be hitting Buffalo, New York. But yeah, I remember hearing about that one. That one was pretty bad up there. A lot of places had lost power. Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, 74 happened, I think was the year that I was in Nebraska at the time. And the school that I was attending, the blizzard had come up while we were all there, and it was so bad that nobody went home. All staff and students slept inside of the school building. And then one of the kids decided to get real stupid and pull the fire alarm about 1 or 2 a.m. or something like that. And we had no idea that it was just a prank. And so we were all going outside. Didn't take time to put anything on over our pajamas, just hauling tail out into that deep snow. Staff did later find out who did it, and that kid did not have a good outcome as a result. That kid got into some trouble. But this winter, according to what I've heard, it's supposed to be milder as far as weather, as far as temperature goes. And looks like we may be short on the white stuff too. And I bet those APCs were loaded with snow shovels because they would have needed them. After that blizzard in Nebraska, the staff had to, they couldn't see where their cars were because they were completely buried. You couldn't see which hump in the lot was which vehicle. So they just had to dig them all out. APC stands for Armor Personnel Carrier, for those who might not be aware. But yeah, you had to have something like that could handle that deep snow and have that high driver position to see over it. Yeah, the staff, you couldn't even make out what type of vehicle it was because of all the snow on them. Yeah, it's very dry around here. We didn't get anything come down. I saw on the weather app on the phone that I am streaming on now. Earlier it says rain starting in like 96 minutes. Nothing. So if it rained, it was not around here. So we are still in drought condition here in Iowa. And yesterday, when I rode the bus to go to the mosque, I looked out at the river and it was still very low. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that last time we had those two big snows back to back where we had like almost like over 2 feet one time, and then I think like 15 inches a couple of days after that. Yeah, that was a time when the smaller plows, like the blades you put on the front end of a truck, if you didn't have anything bigger than that, yeah, you weren't doing much. Yeah, exactly. The water that we get here has to be treated with one of the most expensive systems in the country because of all the high nitrate levels that come in off of the large farms, especially the ones with livestock, the really large ones. You get a lot of that, plus fertilizer runoff. If we didn't have that system running here in Des Moines, I wouldn't be able to say, put this underneath my tap, fill it up, and drink it. I would have to run it through a filter that can handle chemicals. Yeah, but with these systems in place that we have, it's hard water because I get that white residue. Say I wash, I mean, it especially shows up, say if I wash something like this. It has that white residue in there. But I can still drink it. I can still run it through my coffee maker. I don't have to get a filter. But I recently got, I think it was last month or the month before, I got two more of those little carbon filters for my Livestraw Flex. That is the only filter that I have right now with those carbon elements that I can use to handle anything inorganic in the water. My other filters cannot handle that stuff. And of course, my tablets will only take care of biological. It won't handle any chemicals, stuff like that. That's why I wanted to get a couple more of those little filters. I have not actually used that particular one yet, but I still wanted to have some extra filters for it because they will get used up before the life expectancy of the main part of that filter. Yeah, I won that Simpure water bladder with a filter off of a Facebook giveaway. So I do have that one. But it's like the other ones that I have that cannot handle chemicals. Of course, I have the two Berkey filter elements that will go into a bucket Berkey setup when I actually do that, but I have not drilled the holes in those buckets that I have set aside for it. But I do eventually want to get a couple of the white elements to go in there that would handle some of the stuff that the black ones can't. Of course, there are other companies that make those similar elements that are like the Berkey and that would fit into the Berkey tanks if I had the actual steel ones. But since I have the buckets, because I just won the filters, the priming pump, and a spigot off of a giveaway from another channel. But I have not yet put that together. I just keep all that in one spot so that when I need to do it, I can do it. I just don't have it done yet. Yeah, I have a couple of 5-gallon buckets specifically for that purpose. I just haven't put it together yet. But at least it's one of my options so that if something happens to the city water, I can run my stored water through it. If you know, I have water in a bunch of containers, but since I will be moving over, I may get rid of some of my containers and then just empty out others. That way I'm not moving as much weight. See, like my glass jelly jars, some of my other like pickle jars and things like that that have had other food in them. I have been filling those with, after I clean them out, I have been filling those with water. And then just sticking them in various places. So I will be downsizing my water storage, but then I'll just be building it right back up. Well, that finishes that off. Of course, what will take the longest will be moving over all of the food that I have stored here. Of course, what would be nice is if I could get permission from a local here to store some of my food, like like a lot of my buckets and all of my number 10 cans and my pantry cans, like from like Mountain House, Thrive, Augustin Farms, and a few others. I would like to get some of these into a different location. But because I don't drive, I just can't do it by myself. So I would love to have a place that is climate controlled where I can store them. But then with the help of a driver, I can still access them. That would be nice to have. I have not been getting as much of that type of food. I'll get it once in a while. Yeah, I might get, like, I got a bag of beans that someone had brought to the mosque that obviously we're not going to use because it's just 1 pound of beans. Someone just brought in there along with several boxes of cereal plus 2 gallons of milk, just set them right on this bench by the men's shoe rack. So I took the milk downstairs, put it in the fridge. I told a few people about it. And there was a couple of loaves of bread. I brought one of those home. And then there was a jar of peanut butter. So at least all of that's gone. And yesterday, the person who cooked some of the rice for last night's dinner, I told her about the milk. And so she took that home. So all of that stuff has been gone, but I guess we have to have signs in multiple languages that, you just can't do that because there's nobody here at, you know, all day to deal with it. We don't have a place to store all that stuff. I mean, we got a place to store food, but we save that for community use. We don't have a space that we can dedicate as some place to handle all that. And someone brought in a can of pork and beans. So I saw that. Said, oh no, that's not staying here. So I took that home with me, and then I gave it to someone else. Yeah, if it's something that we could use, like cans of veggies, things like that. Yeah, we'll sit on that because we can save that for a future community meal, especially during Ramadan. But just some random day, and it's a good thing I happened to be in there when I did, because had I not gone in there when I did, who knows how long that milk would have sat there before someone would come in to do something about it. But it got all taken care of, so. So that does make me happy that all that stuff found its way into people's kitchens. There's a bunch of noise outside again, but at least it sounds like a bunch of people laughing, not yelling. But speaking of food, these meals, I think next week, I got a Chef 5-minute meals, one that I had not had before. It's a lasagna. I think I may pull that one out next week. Of course, that will depend on if I don't have to hang out with my sister, who has to get a lot of assistance now that she can't do anything because of recently having Achilles tendon surgery. Her bedroom is on the second floor, but because she can't put any weight on that foot, my brother, who is currently staying in that house, in the first floor bedroom, they switched. So my brother has taken my sister's room, and my sister has taken my brother's room. Until she can go up the stairs again. That pumpkin is back underneath my chair again. What you doing down there, silly little cat? So I think that's what will be the plan for next week, is that Chef 5-minute meals. Of course, I will get into my stash to pull something to drink. I took that granola with latte, basically coffee creamer or some kind of creamer. I took that out of there, put that in my camping food bag, because I thought that I might need something for breakfast at camp last month, but Saturday and Sunday, we pretty much had almost a potluck breakfast. I supplied the beef bacon, then we had eggs and potatoes, and others had pork bacon and pork sausage. But Friday morning, I had saved the little packets of that muesli or porridge from those two Singapore rations that I had. I took those. One was a chocolate one was a vanilla one, and there isn't very much in there, so I combined the two of those. And I ate that for my breakfast Friday morning. I went to camp Thursday afternoon. And I had I brought something to have for my supper Thursday night. But then Friday night and Saturday night, we pretty much shared. You know, what we had, just supposed to be potluck Saturday night, but you know how it goes with this bunch. We always bring a bunch of extra food, and we end up sharing some of it. And I brought home a container of the hamburger stew. That turned out really, really good. So I did not eat that granola with latte that I'd taken out of that Chef 5 Minute Meals. I put it in my camping food bag, and it's just still in there. But it's something that I like to keep in there in case I do have to have something of my own for breakfast, but I want it light. That does not need to be refrigerated. I just have to heat up some water. But those two Singapore porridges that I mixed together, that actually turned out pretty good. Yeah, they did. There was not a lot to those, so. But they did work out. Those two mixed together turned out pretty good. But yeah, I think that's what I'll do for next week. In fact, I got my ration box set up, so that will be. That's in the spot that I will pull from. Okay, that's good that you're able to talk to her. In fact, my sister who had this surgery, I thought she would stay in the hospital longer than she did, but I think she only stayed overnight. And then she got sprung the next day. But I will just be on the lookout for a text or a call from one of them saying that my sister, who's stuck at home, would need someone to be with her, or just to do certain things while the others are at work. You know, they know I would do it. Someone would just have to pick me up to take me over there. So if I do find out that I will not be able to do a Sunday Live, I will toss a post up saying that I won't be able to do it. And that's pretty much how it's going to work. But unless I get that, then count on me coming back here next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern U.S. time. Yeah. Yep. She has been getting a lot of that from her coworkers and other friends and relatives who do not live around here. Yeah, she posted a couple of pictures of her photo wrapped up. So I think for tonight, I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I definitely wanted to give you all a heads up, especially those coming in late who may have not heard it in the beginning. Of course, like I said, that before she had her surgery, that I may not do a stream if I have to go be with her on a Sunday. But until I get that notice, I'll be back here next Sunday, usual time. And it will be a Chef 5-minute meals. And I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. And if you're a fan of Joe, Garden State Gardener, hit up Grow Big TV. Watch some of their past stuff. They don't have a whole lot on the channel yet, but they will be working on that with their interview shows twice a week and Sunday Fun Day. And who knows what else they'll be putting up. So Joe and Courtney, they may do stuff together, they may do stuff independent. But they're on all kinds of social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X used to be known as Twitter, LinkedIn. as well as YouTube. So again, thanks all for hanging out with me tonight, and hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.